Vanishing Song, Thomas Keller, Replika Publishing, 2020. Vanishing Song sees Thomas Keller repetitively visit scenes of importance from the life and work of Jack Kerouac. In what seems to be a tradition of Swiss photographers, Keller has been pulled towards Middle America again and again. Reading Kerouac, Keller felt immediately absorbed by the vivid descriptions of locations which became intermingled with his complex emotions of joy and loss. Many places in Lowell, Massachusetts became famous thanks to Franco-American writer Jack Kerouac, best known for his novel On the Road. In his book Dr. Sachs, Kerouac wrote about a man who died while carrying a watermelon across the Moody Street Bridge. It was young Jack's first encounter with death. He also described the Royal Theatre where he went to movies together with his sister Caroline in the late 1920s. Lowell, the former capital of the 19th century textile industry, which became a depressed post-industrial town in the past century, reminded Keller veritably of his birthplace in Winterthur in Switzerland. A city of similar size and history, looking for a new identity. Its people, mostly working class and rather rough, but open-hearted and sincere. Jack Kerouac had described both the Moody Street Bridge and Royal Theatre sensitively in many of his books, and thus had evoked the days of his childhood and youth in his hometown. The urgency of his writings incited me to travel to Lowell several times between 2009 and 2011. While reading Kerouac's books, the names of places and streets sounded like magic to Keller. Dracut, Lupine Road, Beaulieu Street, Moody Street, Pawtucketville, the Wrinkly Tar Corner, so that when he came to Lowell for the first time, and in years to come, finally seeing these places in the flesh, the names began to shine forth like a secret message from the past, making Keller understand that Kerouac's spirit is still alive and present. The more deeply he discovered Lowell, the more revealing it became as a place in which the past and the present overlap and even merge to become indistinguishable, a circumstance Keller has always been intrinsically drawn towards. He examined a similar interplay in his experimental documentary film Kaspar Splinter, 2006. Referring to German Romanticism and the paintings of Caspar David Friedrich. Keller has found a similarly romantic vision of life in the words of Kerouac. Despite the unpopularity of such a worldview these days, Keller continues to share Kerouac's sentiments. Keller depicts Lowell, an America still rooted in the post-war despair seen in Robert Frank's America, and, much like Frank, as an outsider, but with a more loving gaze. Scenes of abandonment exude not just melancholy and loss, but the fallen timber in dappled light tells stories of the lives lived within what were once walls. In tracing the history of the place, Keller communicates a kind of anxious but hopeful sense of waiting for what will come next. In September 2017, after 6 years of absence, I looked up some of my favorite spots in Lowell and realized they were gone. They had been torn down since my last visit. What might be a progress for the town of Lowell will remain a loss for Kerouac's Lowell and for me. Kerouac's text accompanies photographs and text from Keller, adding a jazz rhythm and wide-eyed innocence and sadness to the publication. As a reference to his own photographs, the poster image on the reverse is an archival image from John J. Dorfner's Kerouac, Visions of Lowell, which allows us to see Lowell from multiple time points. This humble publication functions in multiple ways. The temporality of the unbound folding structure is a nod to the Beat Poets, playfully leading the viewer through different scenes in Lowell. Not just for Kerouac fans, Vanishing Song is a serenade to all places in flux as we move into post-globalism. Vanishing Song by Thomas Keller, published by Replika Publishing, is available from selected online sources from the 7th of August.